This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host on our podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. We're going to keep on our amazing journey that we've been on as we are coming close to the close of a year. Wow, what a powerful year it's been. It's been busy. It's been a lot of dynamics going on. So we're going to keep going forward as we continue to pray for and support and hope that there is much improvement coming to our country as represented by our flag that reminds us of our flag. And our presidential seal reminds us to pray for President Trump, his family, his cabinet, his family, whoever is the president, whoever is in charge needs our prayers and our support. So our nation is continuing to go forth. There's a lot of dynamics. People's lives are turning around. People are coming through challenges, and many are continuing to be challenged. So what we want is for our fellow Americans to do well. We want our country to do well. And there are a lot of factions that want to control our country going in a certain direction that really is not going to be good for we the people. It's just not going to be good. And I've repeatedly talked about the importance of leadership. Who wants to keep America first? There are people here that do not want America to be first. They never have wanted it to be first. So tonight we're going to examine something that's generated a lot of discussion in our nation, the wickedness of sabotage. The wickedness of sabotage. All this ties directly into our clinical perspectives. Safety matters. Guys, we're going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there. Come and go with me. Guys, we're dealing with a mainstream media who's often totally out of control. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt recently, earlier this year, it's been recent, she excoriated the liberal media after a mainstream media report was linked. It was linked to something that is absolutely diabolical. It was linked to the lethal shooting at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Texas. One detainee at that facility lost their life, and 2 were injured in a shooting in Dallas earlier this year. Police said they found a man who was no longer alive at his own hand on a nearby rooftop, and they believe he was the shooter. Now here's the dynamic of a dangerous truth that is very concerning in our nation. The mainstream media is quick to write a fake story portraying our immigration customs enforcement, ICE, in a negative light. Now they're there to make us safe. But the mainstream media and the Democratic Party are totally against what they do. I tell you, the mainstream media is an extension of the Democratic Party. It's not hard to prove. It's real easy to prove, as they hardly ever write about, they're against ICE, the media and the Democratic Party. They hardly ever write about the vicious criminals that ICE is arresting every day to make our country safer. This is extremely serious because the media is essentially lying, manipulating, and controlling what people are hearing. They clearly have an agenda. It reminds me of the programming perpetrated by Hitler in his heyday. One of the best things that I ever did was to turn off the mainstream media. Turn that news off. It's a tool of deception, manipulation, and control. And I can tell pretty much in less than 20 seconds people that are eaten up by it. It's the same tools of persuasion. Tools of persuasion used by Joseph Goebbels, who was Hitler's minister of propaganda. Now, when I went to the Holocaust Museum, it was an eye-opener, guys. Here are some words that are on display in the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and I talk about it on my social media platform a lot because it is the driving force of what has crippled the minds of so many people that we love. The Nazi propaganda drew its power from the government's absolute control over the flow of information. It's all about the flow of information that the lying, manipulative mainstream media spews out to the masses. During the time of Hitler, all news media were censored by Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda. That's what was going on during the time of Hitler. It's still going on today. Freedom of speech was ruthlessly suppressed, and they really targeted it starting September 1st, 1939, because they had an agenda. Germans who listened to uncensored information on foreign radio broadcasts risked severe punishment. Most of my broadcasts I even listen to is foreign, because they put facts out there. They put the facts. And then I can use logic and deductive reasoning and come to my own conclusion. I don't need MSNBC and all these folks and all these agendas here telling me what to think and what I need to do. I don't need them because they're manipulative liars. Germans who listened to uncensored information back then on foreign radio broadcasts, they were severely punished. Endless rallies, parades, speeches, rituals, and sham elections were tools of public persuasion. Leading up to those elections, there was certain programming and presentations that were made, and afterwards, in spite of the election results of last year, winning all of the swing states, a GOP trifecta, do you hear the programming that they still pushed for the entire year of 2025 in spite of amazing successes that we experienced as a nation? Public persuasion. That was the thrust. Every year, let's get back to Germany. Let's get back to Hitler. Every year, Germans were expected to participate in hundreds of Nazi events. Ceremonies were reinforced, and the attendance was reinforced. And at those ceremonies, there was a reinforcement of Nazi ideology among the faithful, and it helped to weed out the disobedient. Goebbels also exploited the latest techniques of film and radio and AI. No, not AI back then, but what's going on today. But back then, Joseph Goebbels, he exploited the latest techniques, what we got going on today, but he used it for film and radio to communicate Nazi achievements. The government made inexpensive radios, guys. They were called people's receivers, available to every German household. You remember, I'm old enough to remember seeing the pictures of people sitting around the radio. They didn't have TVs. They gathered around a radio and leaned in to hear what the president had to say. So those people receivers were strategically used by Hitler under the direction of Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda, to program the minds of the masses. Do you see the efforts of the intentional programming via propaganda today? Do you? Beginning in June, CNN irresponsibly, let me tell you what they did this year. In June, It's like they had a start date. Okay, June 1st, ready, set, go. They irresponsibly gave free publicity to an app that recklessly shared the location of ICE agents. Guys, I just heard just loud and clear inside of me. It was all perpetrated by the Democratic Party. They gave free publicity on CNN to an app that recklessly shared the location of ICE agents. It literally puts ICE agents at risk just for doing their jobs. It's been revealed the leftist lunatic shooter who opened fire on that Dallas ICE facility, he was using one of those apps. The liberal media is complicit in the increased threats and violence against ICE guys. Federal Bureau of Investigation FBI Director Kash Patel, he revealed that the shooting suspect had downloaded a list of ICE locations in Texas, as well as searched apps that tracked the presence of ICE agents. And this was promoted on CNN. CNN was among the media outlets that reported on the ICE tracking apps and was accused of promoting the services in order to encourage protests and violence against federal agents. Every day, they're just so quick to write a fake story portraying ICE in a negative light. They often omit the real facts of the cases, and they hardly ever write about the vicious criminals that ICE is arresting every day to make our country safer. They found 100 children in Memphis, Tennessee, and you got a activist, Democrat, liberal judge trying to shut it down. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you understand the who, what, when, where, how, and why? Patel talked openly about the shooting suspect and how the suspect had allegedly composed a handwritten note. And you know what it said? Check this out. The note said, hopefully, this will give ICE agents real terror to think. Is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? That's what he said in his note. Hopefully, this is going to give ICE agents real terror to think, well, is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof? Guys, this is flat out sabotage. This goes past freedom of speech. There is no way that we should allow those who are trained to facilitate safety in our nation to be willfully put in harm's way via an app. Sabotage, what is that? It's the deliberate destruction or obstruction of something to weaken an organization. All of this ties into a basic yet essential necessity related to our nation: safety. Yes, safety. Why do we even need to be concerned about safety? I mean, who cares? Do you? Should we care? Should the leadership? Why is safety so important in our lives? That's our clinical perspective. Protection of lives, guys. Safety measures prevent accidents and protect human lives. Imagine that. Whether at work, home, public spaces, safety protocols reduce the risk of injuries and fatalities. In a workplace, employee well-being, safety. When we prioritize safety in the workplace, it ensures a happy and healthy workforce. Who wants to come to work if it's not safe? You got these people, ICE agents, that's their work. They should be able to come in and put law and order in places that havoc was just being wreaking havoc. People couldn't even sit out on their porches. Children couldn't even play. The power of safety in a nation is the ability to foster a secure environment that enables a high quality of life. economic prosperity, and national stability. Imagine that. Do you know that safety is a foundation for individual well-being and can be built through public measures like crime reduction and emergency response, as well as through economic and industrial security, as a nation's self-reliance in its industries is a key component of its survival and strength, and this drives Donald Trump. This kind of stuff right here, what I just specified. What about individual and community well-being? Should it be a concern for us at all? Quality of life, what about that? Safety is essential for individuals to live, work, and pursue aspirations without fear. Little kids couldn't even play. It's a cornerstone of a good quality of life and fosters a sense of security. People want to be able to walk out in their neighborhoods, ride their bicycles, put their helmets on when they ride their bicycles. Yeah. And be able to play and not be afraid of a bullet that's going to fly past their head. Guys, basic safety leads to reduced crime. Low crime rates are crucial for better living, creating a safe community, creating better, safer communities. Is anyone concerned about community bonds? A focus on safety can enhance community bonds, encourage greater participation from citizens, neighborhood watch, and us looking out for each other. That's how it used to be. And you have communities that still do that. But in these ones that they're wreaking havoc, shoot them up, bang, bang, and all that stuff, it's sad. What about mental and physical health? Promoting safety and well-being creates conditions that are beneficial for our mental and physical health as a population. Should we even care about national stability and economic strength? What about that as it relates to safety? I guarantee you that if something goes down, folk will start moaning and complaining about what didn't happen to keep this from going on. Why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? Can we trust that this is how President Trump operates and thinks? You bet your bottom dollar we can trust. It drives the man. Like him or not, he's proven that. What about economic security? A nation's prosperity is linked to its economic security, which includes the stability of its industries, the stability of its trades, and the stability of financial systems. We got to have these systems financially stable. We got to have industry stable and safe. Economic security, stable and safe. What about productivity? Who's thinking about this stuff? Donald Trump and his cabinet. Excuse me. Who cares about that? Productivity. When workers feel secure, they're more focused, they're efficient, and that leads to higher productivity. They're not nervous. They can come to work, get it done, put in a day's work, and go home. And the whole nation is blessed. Should we be concerned about reducing turnover? Should we? Guys, do you see the need for safety? What have we looked at tonight? We've looked at the need for safety. Listen, we were sabotaged. Our nation was sabotaged. And we need people paying attention to our national security. We need our country operating with safety being at the forefront of everything. And this sabotage that was going on was from the pits of hell. And it appeared that the Democratic Party was thriving on the chaos. Why? They were creating it. They were creating it. And finally, we got somebody that has shut that stuff down. They shut it down. He shut it down, and his cabinet shut it down. We were out of control. But there's a new sheriff in town. There are new leaders on the forefront. And they have our security at the forefront, and the wickedness of sabotage has been shut down. And I thank God for it. Guys, listen, we're one nation under God. We should be indivisible. We should be for liberty. We should be for justice for all. We were on the wrong track. We were so out of control. We were being sabotaged. We were being set up. It was wicked. And safety really matters. When safety is compromised, you really see how much of a value it is. Guys, we need to keep talking about these things. We were on such a destructive pattern in so many ways last year as we wrap up 2025 and go into 2026. We were in such a destructive pattern in so many ways. We were being set up, but it was willfully perpetrated on us by the Obama-Biden cabal. I've laid out facts that just educates us. I am about America, and I'm about our children and them having an opportunity to be safe and to be able to thrive. And if we ever lose focus of that, how in the world can God bless us? How can he? How can he? So we're going to keep talking about these things as we wrap up 2025. Listen, guys, I appreciate you. I thank you for your support this year. I thank you for your love. I honor you. I bless you in this new year. God has an amazing plan for you and your family, but you got to cooperate with him, guys. We can't be enemies of God. He's a God of order. And if we contribute in the construction and the perpetration of confusion, we're fighting against him. He's a God of order. And we were so out of order. And our children need orderly, structured environments, making your home orderly, making their environments predictable, making their environment safe, not sabotaging their little minds. Our children's minds were being sabotaged when they were showing up in school, and these sexual agendas were being perpetrated on them. And they were looking at these images in their books, said, there's no way a kindergarten and first grader was supposed to see the images that they were seeing. No way. And then if they were being accosted or abused at home, and what that does to the system, to their nervous system, their whole functioning, their souls, their mind, their will, their emotions, their intellect, their drive, and their desire. And then they come to school and they see the same type of images. Guys, do you see the madness of what was going on? We were being totally sabotaged, but we're going in a different direction now. And this country is worth saving, and safety matters. Guys, keep coming back. We are going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there, and I am all in for us being successful. Listen, keep coming back. I will see you next week. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
We are one power, strength is ours, liberty, been set free, education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.